So we are not going to do the pledge of allegiance, and obviously we don't have any public comments this evening. So let's go to the consent agenda, which would be the minutes from the previous meeting, appropriations, and the lake cabin transfer for H14. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Will you say your name?
Chris, yeah, I say Chris with the second. Chris with the second.
Sharon is first, and Chris is the second. Okay.
Hey, I'm in now. Councilman online.
Okay, great.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is go down and ask for your vote on this, okay, for when we're voting, so we can mark these. Okay,
Okay, can you say that again, please?
okay, I'm gonna go down and ask for your names, and then you can say yes or no. I think that's,
Just how about, before you just say your name, so we know who's talking, so everybody knows who's talking.
then how are they gonna know what order to say it? Yes, 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 probably.
Well, they go through and say their name, yes.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to have a certain order if it's top of region.
I'm just gonna have them.
Okay,
That's just, yeah, we'll look through it.
okay, okay, Chris.
Sharon and Chris.
Commissioner Chris, Mark, and Keith, and Larry. Okay. Okay, so Larry, you vote yes? Let's not be on yet. Okay, we're voting on the consent agenda. Yes or no? Mark Brooks.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out like crazy. It sounds horrible. What did you say?
Okay, vote yes or no on the consent agenda.
Yes.
Okay, Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon Hahn,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Larry? Larry, can you hear me?
Yeah, his volume on. He's having himself muted. Had that trouble earlier.
Yeah, he's muted.
Larry, you need to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
He just left.
Oh, he just left.
You're gonna call back in.
Probably. He's probably having problems.
Okay, I'm gonna say 6-0 or what stitch? 0. Okay, motion carries. Old business, there being none, let's move on to new business. And that is with Mr. Enns, Rick Enns.
Well, good evening. This is Rick Enns with Cooper Malone McLean, the city's bond underwriter. First of all, I hope that everybody is doing well and staying healthy. That's the main thing these days. When I met with you folks, what was it, a couple of months ago, we talked about the process of refunding your bonds, your Series 2012 bonds and your Series 2013 bonds. Those are both water related. And what I have provided to Nick is, and Nick, I assume that you got my email earlier this afternoon with the debt service schedules and you were able to disseminate those.
Yep, I sent it out to everybody on council.
Okay. I'm going to go through that debt service schedule rather briefly, and certainly if you have questions, just let me know. But on the first page, and this is the document I'm referring to. And on the first page, that's the sources and uses of funds. That just identifies where the funds are coming from and where they're going to be used and how they're going to be used. And on the second page of that document, it says debt service schedule at the top. And these are the individual maturities for your new bonds. And you can see under coupon, the third column, that they range from 1.7% down to 2.6% in 2033. Just a little backstory. You may or may not be following the financial markets, but in the municipal bond market specifically, rates have been all over the board. And had we done this particular deal last week, we probably would have been looking at rates at 3.5 or 3.75 in the year 2033. They have just been up and down dramatically on a day-to-day basis and even on an hourly basis. So we were able to secure today the 1.7 through 2.6% financing. If you turn the page to page 4, that's where it says debt service comparison. This is comparing the new bonds with your 2 old bonds, or your 2 existing bonds of 2012 and 2013. And in the far right-hand column, that's the fiscal savings that is identified for each particular year. And if you go all the way down to the bottom on page 5, you can see under the savings, there's a savings of $121,700.62. And that represents a net present value benefit that's in the middle of the page of 1.31%, 1.309 or 1.31%. So now, if you go to the 1-page summary, and that's this sheet right here. This particular sheet identifies and sums up the savings and the benefit to you. And as I identified, the savings, the net savings after all costs, the net savings is $121,708.62, which represents a net present value of the refunding bonds of 1.31%. You got an average rate of 2.27%. And what I did is I structured this so that your 25 bonds, your 2012 bonds, which currently would be paid off in 2025, they still would be paid off in 2025 under this new financing. And your series 2013 bonds, which paid off in 2033, continue to be paid off in 2033. And that's reflected, if you go back to the debt service schedule that I was showing you earlier, right off the bat first, and you go to, let me get the page number here. You go to page 2. That's this page right here. You go to page 2, you can see in year 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, those principal and interest amounts are greater than what they are in 27, 26 on through 33. And that's because your 2012 bonds would have paid off in 2025, and I just kept that same structure. Maybe more detail than you wanted to know, but we structured it so that it's the same impact on your budgets each year as it was previously. So those are the rates. And before we go to the bond resolution and the bond ordinance, and we'll do the ordinance first, but I'll just stop there and see if there are any questions.
Hey, Rick, before you do the resolution and the ordinance, don't we need to approve Don Vincent's agreement?
You are correct. Thank you, Nick. I forgot about that. Yes. Why don't we stop what I'm doing and let's take up Don's agreement.
That was mailed out to the council earlier this afternoon. Emailed out.
Nick, you said that was emailed?
Yes. Yep.
At 4:41, possibly, if they need to know.
No, that's a different one. That's not the other one's from Don.
Okay, it was 208.
208. was sent at 2:08. to the council.
And Nick, it looks like there's 2 attachments, right? Are we looking at the engagement letter or?
Yep, that's it. You got it.
Got it.
And just, this is Rick Enns. Just to clarify, I'm not representing Don, and there's no contractual agreement between our firm and his firm. He is serving as bond counsel, and his client is you, the city. But if you do have questions as pertains to the overall bond issue, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay. Yeah. So, have you all had a chance to walk through that engagement letter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
do I
Yes.
hear a motion to approve accepting the engagement letter?
So moved.
Okay, that's Mark Brooks, right?
Yes.
Sharon, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the engagement letter we received today from Don Jensen. All those in favor? I'll go yes, good at the line again. Okay. Mark Brooks,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Thank you. Okay, and now Rick, I think you're,
Okay, I know Don appreciates that. He did all the work for you tonight and without a contract, so I know he appreciates having a contract now. Thank you.
sure.
I'll start with the bond ordinance first, and the bond ordinance does need to be published. That ordinance, and let me just ask the question, do we have an ordinance number for that, Nick?
Yes, we do. It's 2230.
Did you say 2230?
Sir.
Okay, thank you. Well, ordinance 2230 identifies the ordinance as authorizing and providing for the issuance of 1.36 million in general obligation refunding bonds, series 2020. And I don't want to read the whole thing. I know you've had the opportunity to read it, but in essence, it just identifies that the security for the bonds, GO bonds, is ad valorem taxes. And by signing this document, as well as the bond resolution, you are authorized then to sign all the other documents associated with the bond issue, which are rather numerous and voluminous. But I'd certainly be willing to answer questions if you have any questions about the ordinance. I will tell you that when we take up the bond resolution next, that has all the details of the bond issue in it. And the reason the ordinance does not have the details is because we need to publish the ordinance, and by not presenting the details in the ordinance, we're able to save you, the city, money by not having to publish an ordinance in the newspaper that's several pages long.
And Nick, has Steve had a chance to look over this? Okay, you didn't hear anything bad. Okay, so we're at the point now where we need a motion to the ordinance number 2230. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Keith?
Keith?
Second, Chris.
Okay, so moved and seconded to approve the bond ordinance 230. And I'm gonna go down the list again. Mark Brooks,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
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 Keith,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried 6-0.
Okay, now we'll take up the bond resolution, and I'll ask the question again, Nick. Do you have a resolution number?
I do. 0407 20-1.
040620-20.
Nope, 040720-01.
Okay. 040720-01.
01.
Okay, thank you. And the bond resolution is nearly 30 pages long, and I won't go through all of it, but I do want to hit just a couple of highlights. In section 203, the description of bonds, and that's on page 6 of the bond resolution, that identifies the maturities, the principal amounts, the dates, and the rates. And while the rates are not filled in on what you have because they were presented in order to get in the council packet, the rates will reflect what I just shared with you earlier this evening. Those will be your rates, and they'll be inserted into this schedule here under description of bonds, section 203. The other thing I wanted to point out, excuse me, is under section 301, optional redemption. We have identified these bonds as being callable, and we say that the bonds maturing July 1st of 2029 and thereafter are subject to optional redemption beginning July 1st of 2028. So you actually have the option at that time, if rates were favorable, or if the city chose to just pay them off in full or in part, you have the ability to do that again come January 1st of 2028. And then in section 1104, that's the SEC's rule 15C2-12 disclosure. That's the quote unquote continuing disclosure rule. And these bonds are subject to continuing disclosure, just like your pool bonds are. And so we have a separate document, or Don has prepared a separate document called the continuing disclosure instructions, which you don't need to take action on because that's a part of the bond package. But I just want to point out that previously, when we issued your bonds back in 2013 and 2012 and the pool bonds, we identified 180 days after the fiscal year as the deadline for you submitting your financial annual report. Annual report is comprised of operating data and the audited financial statement. But when we refunded your pool bonds last year, we changed that to 270 days. We went from 180 to 270 because it seemed like your audits were always after the 180-day period. And that required you, or required me on your behalf, to file a failure to file form. And that cost the city a little bit of additional money. So we changed the pool bonds from 180 to 270 so that we can hopefully eliminate that. And in these bonds, we've done the same thing. We're going from 180 days to 270 days, hopefully being able to submit the annual report without having to do a failure to file report. I just wanted to point that out. And then again, in section 1105, further authority, again, it identifies that by signing the bond resolution and the bond ordinance, those are the only two documents for passage, and it incorporates all other bond documents within that. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
On here.
I do have one I want to ask after we get through this particular phase.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the final one. So do you want to go ahead and ask the now, Mark?
Pardon me?
You want to go ahead and ask now, because this is it, I believe.
Okay, well, Rick, the last time you were at the city council meeting, I brought up possibly looking at our Washington Street bond issue. to see if there was something you could do with that. Nick, have we done anything on that?
We have, Rick, there was no savings, I recall, so, Rick, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, Mark, I have received some information from Megan and Nick. They've sent that to me. And the initial look, I'll be honest with you, the initial look, I'm not sure we can refund it and save you some money. But that
Okay.
does not mean that when rates settle down, and if they were to go down more, that we might not be able to do something. So I have received information from Megan and Nick, and we're monitoring that. And if it looks like we might be able to do something, we'll certainly bring that forth and present that to the council for consideration. It's something.
Okay.
I just want to say it's something that I didn't forget about, haven't forgotten, and neither has Nick and Megan, and we've been working on that.
Okay, I appreciate it, Rick.
Sure.
Are there any other questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve bond resolution 040720-01? Everybody there?
Mark Burner, so moved.
Okay, Mark, okay,
Second, Chris Thomas.
Chris, okay. I'm gonna go down the line again, okay. Mark Berger? Mark Berner,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Sharon Hahn,
Yes.
Chris Thomas,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
and Larry.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 6-0.
Mayor, if I may make, this is Rick, if I may make just a few comments for closure.
Sure, absolutely.
We are planning to close on April 28th, and that does not involve council action. That'll involve Nick and Megan and I. But on that morning, we'll wire the funds to the city, and we'll close the bond issue at that time. And prior to that, Nick and Megan, as I have done in the past, I will email you the closing protocol and ask for bank financial information. I assume it's probably the same as what we had last time when we did the pools last year, but I'll still need that in writing back from you, and I will send that to you. And we'll get all that put together, and then, like I said, we'll close on April 28th. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
You have a good evening, okay?
Okay, thank you, and I'll adjourn unless you need me to stay on for anything else.
Everybody okay?
Good, thank you.
Good
Rick.
here.
Thank you.
Stay
Okay,
safe.
thank you, and
Thank
stay
you.
safe too.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's move on to sales tax grant. The first one is for Washunga Days. And Diana's on the line. Diana visited a little bit earlier. This particular grant is for marketing of the Washunga Days. And I have had a question from a council member whether we should do anything about this because a little up in the air whether we're going to be able to move about on June the 20th or not. I think whatever in June, whether we'll change the dates or not, that's kind of all up in the air yet. My suggestion would be that we approve it with the contingency that the event takes place. But I would like to see what you guys think. What do you have to say?
Mayor, I was told right before the meeting that Governor Kelly had extended the stay order through May 1st. Does anybody heard that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Mayor, and Keith, this is Chris. I'm open to, again, however we word this, if this is what we've done in the past, and this is kind of the setup with obviously the asterisk or does the event happen and when does it happen? or table it. I mean, I think we've got options here. We do the right thing, right, and just figure out what makes the most sense. But I'm open to, like I said, the support either way, just how we write it up or how it looks, so we have that coverage if it doesn't happen or happens later in the year.
Diane, do you have like a timeline on when you're gonna do marketing for the show today?
Diane?
Okay,
Yeah.
what? I didn't understand it.
Sorry, did you guys have, did your committee have like a timeline plan to start, doing marketing?
Our plan is, normally in the past, we started the radio advertising and big marketing after the 1st of May. We have already done a magazine ad with Kansas Magazine and some other minor things that are done, but we're holding off on any radio and the big dollars, because that's where most of our dollars go, is on the radio ads. And so we're holding off on that until we know the date.
Okay. So,
Just
we
a,
could, I guess the thing is, yeah, the money, as long as the money, I guess if it's not, we're not gonna use, we're not gonna have the, but it's just totally, that's up to you as a council, how you'd like to handle it, whether you'd rather do it with a contingency, it's up to you. If you're
Well,
willing.
this is
Sorry.
this is Councilman Brooks. I think the main thing is that the council needs to decide if we want to give the money, and then, just put a stipulation, like Councilman Thomas said, if we're going to wait on the date or whatever, the city hold on the money until it's actually needed.
Hey, Mark, the way the sales tax rate works is they spend the money and then they provide us with invoices of the money spent. So,
Okay, so we're covered.
Basically, we're covered. The thing that probably would concern me is that we want to make a decision whether we do want to, grant that money out or not, so that they'll know where we're standing as far as their budget goes. If we want a different amount or something, then we need to know now, so they'll have an idea. The timing, yeah.
the question I think is in question here is, when do you guys want to put it now, or do you guys want to wait till May council meeting? That's the question. We got to approve it, but we want to wait and see what happens.
Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Keith. I don't think there's a doubt that the council definitely wants to support it, but I think the concern is, with it being an unknown, at some point, the advertising has to be done, and then if it doesn't happen, then there's no festival. That's my concern. Is there a way to commit with the understanding that if the festival goes, but I know there has to be a time frame, like how tight they can put the advertising towards the festival and still get their money out of it. Does that make sense, or am I confusing everybody?
Well, this is Councilman Brooks again. I think it's almost an impossibility to just kind of hang a carrot out in front of them, not knowing what's going to happen. They're going to have to know if they have the funding or not, so they can move forward on marketing. I think the council just needs to decide if we want to give them the money or not.
I agree. I think so too. And it's just a matter of, like I said, how we do. I guess we can make two different motions. We can make a motion, yes, we want to fund it if it happens, and then a second motion when we want to fund it, or we can just, somebody can make a motion, and if everybody doesn't agree, then we'll make a different motion.
This is Councilman Sigrist.
Yes, sir.
I am of the opinion that nothing be granted at this time. The federal government doesn't even know, or the CDC, what's going to happen. I don't think we should designate any funds, especially on an account that we do not know what the revenues will be. That's my opinion.
This is past money, is it not?
This is first quarter money. This year.
For this year.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, so we have January, February, March, so
Yeah, so,
fine. We've got our revenues.
yeah, we have, money sales tax grant is in the fund. But if 15,000, then say it doesn't happen.
Is it revenue from this year or last year?
It's for this year. Last year's gone. There's $59,459 in the sales tax grant. We have not awarded any money this year to anybody. This would be on the first quarter.
So basically, Larry, the money's there. Because we've spent none of it yet this year. Does that answer your question?
My opinion is still the same. I would not issue and I will not vote for issuing any sales tax funds for any group gatherings on a subject that nationwide nobody knows what's happening yet.
Okay. Understand that. So, anybody else? Think they want to say?
I question, what's the chances that we might have a whole lot of knowledge and say next meeting, we table this, look at it next meeting, see if there's data available that'll give us a glimmer of hope that we're going to be able to do it.
Hey, Keith, this is Chris, and I won't speak for Diane, but I'm on that Washunga Day committee as well. I was going to echo those same comments. There's no reason, to Larry's point, that we, in my mind, that we need to do something right now. And secondly, it can be tabled for a month. I know even next week we're meeting to talk contingency plans, what happens if, when, all the details. I actually am okay if you guys are crafting or putting a motion together, even to just say, let's table it for a month.
I'll make that motion that we table it for next month in the hopes that we'll have some data that we can all feel good about and get behind it, because no doubt everybody wants it to happen.
So that'll be on the May 5th. That'll be the first meeting in May.
Well, it's nice to hear from, like, Councilman Thomas talking about what the Washunga Day Committee is doing, because I think we really don't know what their plans are. So it was nice to know that you are going to meet and you're going to talk about it, and maybe have.
Yeah, and I'll share more as you guys are there, because as Diane said, I mean, obviously, to Larry's point, everybody's point, I mean, stuff is changing every day, every hour. The goal is still to have it. That's also, the window is closing to do it that date. Then it becomes, is it a secondary date later in the year? Is it canceled? So I think everything's on the table. I think the city council, I think we're aligned with the Washunga Day Committee of, hey, look, it's a great event for the community. Let's do it, but let's first and foremost come safety and, compliance. So, but to your point, Mark, we absolutely are, working through that to say, okay, what's this going to look like, and how's it going to go?
Well, if that was a motion by Councilman Wessel, I'll second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to table the request for sales tax grant from Washunga Day till the May 5th meeting. All those in favor? Mark Brooks,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
and Larry.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. And then next on the agenda, we have the sales tax grant request from the House Grove Chamber of Commerce for their marketing. And I would take some, does anybody have any questions about that? Diane, she can answer questions.
This is Diana. If I can just put in, I think marketing dollars are the most important thing that we can do right now. I know that it's down in our community right now, and it is so important for us to, as I talked to Dixie earlier today, it's so important for us to market and advertise so that people understand that we are open. And when this whole thing is lifted, which it will be, and we figure out the new normal, so that we can, we're ready and we can start marketing and advertising so that this summer people can come and we do the things that can get people to come spend time to take a trolley ride and do our history and to do everything and our recreation, because it will open. I gotta believe that it will open. Marketing is so important right now so that we can get our sales tax dollars back, our businesses make money again.
Okay, do I hear discussion on that?
This is Sharon. I would just say that I think Diane is right on there, that we have to be ready to go as soon as things do open up.
I agree with Councilman Hahn and Diane. It's not only about when this pandemic is over, we need to start thinking about promoting our city in the future too. 2021, we have big things on the horizon to keep marketing. This will end, and we need to be ready.
I know we received a broken out listing of the marketing plans or marketing expenses that the chamber is looking at. Do any of you have any questions on that?
I have a question for Diane.
Yes.
Okay.
Diane, my question is, are the other chambers in communication? How is everybody? Are you kind of laying low until the town gets released? Or how are the other cities doing, the other
No,
chambers?
they are going full bore to when this ends, so that we're all ready to, be marketing our town, because this will end. And so every chamber across the United States is planning their whole marketing plan. I will say that, as I told some of my board members today, that I really think that we need to look at our marketing plan a little bit and determine, because things are different than they were when I wrote this. And I really think that we need to look at the best way to spend our dollars. And, things have changed. So I think it's important that we stay on top of it and continue to make sure that we're here.
Well, and I think that it made my point exactly, that I think you need to, everybody needs to just kind of, like you say, be prepared and come out of the chute when everything gets turned loose. I don't think things will be the same, and some of the places probably you've advertised in the past may not even be around anymore. So.
That's true.
I hope we're all around, and so
No,
we need to market to make sure.
No,
that,
I'm talking that
have our
things are going to be done differently, just like we're doing this meeting. People that are going to learn that there's other ways to accomplish the same goals. So there may be a whole new marketing strategy that'll come out of this. That's what I mean. I don't mean that.
Right, and I totally agree with you, Keith. Yes. That is why I want our marketing committee to get together and look about, okay, so what now in this new quote normal, what is the best ways for us to market Council Grove to our surrounding, our regional people, so that they come here for a weekend or an overnight trip or even a day trip.
Diane, I have a question. The Bajillion Marketing Group, you have $5,000. Exactly what does that mean?
Our digital marketing is what we did last year, and that's where we do the social media, and we are working with Bajillion, which is a company that is contracted by the state of Kansas, tourism state of Kansas, and so we are working with them on ways to hit the social media hard, so that we can get more people, because so many people, they just look at social media and that's what they do. And so that's what we are working with this the state agency in order to get this going. It was very successful last year. Last year was the first time that we did it, and I think we saw very good results. And so I think that that's, you know, an important aspect of our marketing.
Yeah, our sales tax showed that it was successful.
Right. Right.
Okay. Nick has a question about that.
Is that for your guys' website? Diane?
Did you hear that, Diane?
No, I did not.
Is that like promoting stuff on your website, the chamber website?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. I do not know what you said.
Okay, the Bajillion Marketing Group, so is that advertising things on your website is what, the chamber website, is that's what Nick is asking?
I got the Bajillion Marketing Group. They are the ones that had the contract with the travel tourism, and so they know the ins and outs of everything that Travel Kansas is doing, so that we can piggyback upon that and make our campaign even more successful.
Okay, so is that actually something that the state is actually hiring Bajillion? Is that what you're saying? I mean,
Yeah, the Bajillion, the marketing company Bajillion, is hired by the state of Kansas to do all of the state of Kansas marketing. So with them helping us with our social media digital campaign, they know we can piggyback on what the state is doing.
so do they actually ever mention Council Grove in like Council Grove, or is it all state and area?
No, it is, they're the $5,000 that we have with them is to promote Council Grove. But it allows us to piggyback on and take advantage of where the state dollars are being spent, so that we spend less dollars and can piggyback on what the state is doing.
Okay, so where would we see that? You know, we would like to see those results, so where would we see that?
Where what? I'm sorry.
Like, if we were to go to look for that, where would we see that? Where would we see that?
I can send you all our marketing reports and our numbers of what we did last year with the company. We were not with Bajillion. We did, we changed companies because the state changed their marketing company. And so, but I can send you all the numbers of what we did from last year.
Okay, but what we're saying is, you're saying the numbers are up, but, you know, that could be a lot of different things, you know, factors into that. So my question is, and I think Werner and I talked about this the other day. My question is the social media, you're saying it's coming through social media and stuff, is actually doing advertising for us that says Council Grove?
It is, they do the social marketing. I mean, our Holly and the chamber will still continue to do our social marketing, but they will also do the social marketing and help us do the appropriate buys and things that, I mean, we picked our areas that we want to focus on, and then they will help focus on those areas.
The school or the chamber, you're contacting the state, the information for the chamber.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of lost about that. We need to wait a little bit.
Mayor, this is Aaron Doty, a Chamber Council board member. Do you care if I think I can help explain that with Diane here, if Diane doesn't mind. Is that okay with you?
That's great.
Okay. So I think the confusion comes here because it is confusing. This social media marketing is not what we do locally. That's what we subscribe to and pay a fee to let Council Grove be included in the broader picture when this Kansas Chamber of Commerce organization markets Chamber of Commerces and communities. You pay a fee to be part of that. They include your chamber and your town and your communities within that marketing. So it's two different, don't confuse it with our local social media campaigns, because that's something, they don't run our Facebook page, they don't run our Instagram, they don't do those types of things. That's something we still have to do here locally. This is basically allowing the Council Grove and Morris County Chamber of Commerce to be included in these bigger social media pushes statewide and nationwide that this company does on behalf of all the chambers in the state of Kansas. Is that help clarify? Diane, is that correct?
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. It's not the Chamber of Commerce, it's Travel Kansas, but you are absolutely correct.
So basically, it's kind of like a subscription fee that we're paying them to include us in all those advertisements and pushes they do throughout the state and nation to include Council Grove, Morris County in those pushes.
Yeah, that clarifies it. That makes it. Because I noticed on this list, there really isn't any monies that are actually attributed just to, or, implemented just for social media. So that's what I question.
Well, and that's a good point, Mayor, because that's actually something that's going to come up down the road for us because all of our social media locally has been handled voluntarily. And so the board, the executive board has been talking about how we can sustain that down the road. So I'm glad you brought that up for the clarification point, because I think it's important for everybody to understand that the local social media push that we do has nothing to do with this portion of it. This is a totally different piece of that advertising.
Okay, that was my question. I didn't, the social media, I'm not, criticizing the social media, but I didn't think I'd see $5,000. That's why I wanted to make sure. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
No, I'm 100% on board with it.
Okay, do I hear a motion from you?
I move we approve, this is Sharon, I move we approve the $20,000 from the sales tax grant to the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll
Right here.
second it.
Okay, is that Mark Brooks?
Yes.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve a sales tax grant to the Chamber of Commerce for $20,000. And I'll go down the list. Mark Brooks,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 6-0. So that sales tax grant is approved. Thank you. Okay, moving along, the police committee recommendation for a part-time officer. Okay, at this time, I appoint Alex Wood to the position of part-time officer at a pay rate of $13.86 an hour. Is contingent on passing a background, physical, and drug alcohol screening. And I'd like to have a motion to approve that appointment.
This is Sharon, so move.
Okay,
This is Chris, second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Alex Wooden. Mark Brooks,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries to hire Alex Wooden. Okay, and now we have to appoint Steve Creighton to contract for the position of manager, okay, of $450 a month, contingent on passing a physical and drug alcohol screening. Do I hear a motion?
So moved, Keith.
Okay, second,
Second, this is Sharon.
okay. I'm going down the list again. I'm gonna go backwards this time, see if you got Barry,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Mark Brooks.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 6-0. Hallelujah, we got a dog catcher, that's a good thing. Okay, and the police, the organization to appoint Teresa Group to the contract position of city treasurer at a pay rate of $40 per month. Do I hear a motion?
This is Chris. So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second, this is Sharon.
Okay. And I'm going down the list. Mark Brooks,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 6-0. So Teresa is now appointed to the contract position of city treasurer. I know all of you did not say that correctly. I should have said to approve the appointment, not to approve her. I messed up. Okay, now we are ready for governing body comments. Let's start out with Larry. Larry,
No comments for this evening, Mayor.
okay. Keith,
Yeah, I had one thing I wanted to follow up on. There had been some conversation about the boat ramp access at the city lake. Nick had did they end up sending a resolution into the state?
Working on it. That's kind of where I, Chris Blackledge last week, they're working on it. So I talked to Sean, he's up to date on it than I am, and he says they're still in the process of getting it done.
Okay, and I was just going to share with the council, I had a brief conversation with Gary Ketley, and of course, the board's dealing with this. They're trying their best to keep access available through boat ramps on the different lakes in our area. And that so far here, everything has gone real smooth, but some of the other lakes that are closer to some of the hot spots, they're starting to have some problems with large groups gathering and so on. And he's hoping that that they aren't forced to close it up entirely, because the Corps has made it real clear, I guess, that if people can't honor social distancing and stay in their counties and follow the stay home order, then they'll be forced to lock it all up. And he's hoping to avoid that. So he's wanting us to kind of stay in touch. And if there is, something comes down from the state, he would like for us to make him aware of it.
I would hope that our county law officers would help patrol that.
He indicated what their problem has been is some of the other areas that are closer to those spots, when they started gathering, they were forced to basically to ask them to leave and so on. And he said that as a manager of this area, he said they've made it real clear that if it is a problem, they have no choice but just to lock the ramps down. So he's hoping to avoid that, because he's like all of us. The last thing he wants to do is, the same old story. A few can run it for everybody, but that was his concern. So I just want to see if that does come down. We probably need to stay in touch and let them know.
okay.
That's
Anything
it.
else,
Stay safe, everybody.
Chris?
Nothing to add. Good to hear your voices and see some faces. We're back to full health here. So thankful for everything and all the kind words and thoughts from you guys. And we'll keep moving forward.
Okay, great. It's good to have you well again. Okay, Sharon?
Well, just to say, glad to see Chris back and glad they're all doing okay. And everybody stay safe. This is a new experience, isn't it? I like everybody else, am struggling with a lack of schedule and no plan for a meeting tomorrow or the next day, and don't quite know what to do sometimes. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Berner?
Nothing this evening.
Mark Brooks?
Hello, I'm still here. Hey, I'm
Okay.
curious. I have a few things here. I'm curious where we're at on the grant that we had for the overall sidewalk plan.
Grant for what? I'm sorry.
I was curious about the grant that we put in to do a master plan on sidewalks in the city of Council Grove.
Talking about the
Wondered-
safe routes to school.
Yes.
Yeah, we, I think I updated council not even a month ago, but everything's been turned in. BJ Consultants won the contract. They're working on the phase 1 for us. So BG is currently working on that. So we're still in phase 1.
The reason I bring it up is I understand there's some federal money being available right now for this type of plan. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to see where we're at on it.
Yeah.
The second thing, go ahead.
No, we're working on it.
Okay. Second thing I will say is I think this is going to work meeting like this, but we're going to have to do something better on the sound system at City Hall. The mayor and Nick, you guys sound like you're in the bottom of a well. It's really hard to understand what you're saying. So I think,
Are you the
I don't know
one
if
having, well, my question is, are you the only one having that problem? Does anybody else have that issue about hearing me and the mayor?
Hey, this is Mark Berner. Let me say something real quick here. What will work really better is if everybody keep their microphones turned off unless you're talking, because I think what we're hearing is feedback from you guys' 2 mics because they're probably both on. So if you'll just use the microphone at the bottom of the screen, if it's on red, you can't hear, and if it's on red, you can, if it's on green, you can talk and just click it on and off.
Okay. All right. That's good. to know.
I have to
Thank you.
play around with that a little bit. Okay, and that I've been asked by the state society since the government's been put on pause. We had been granted a $10,000 sales tax grant, and we got a 6-month extension. I think it's up for this month here. I just wondered if the council would be a little more flexible, let us have a little more extension on that. We're about ready to start spending some money, but with the government, it's kind of put a stop to that.
How long of an extension would you need, Mark?
Oh, I don't know if you could give us 2 or 3 months. I think it, you know, again, a lot depends on what's going on here, but I think if we got 2 or 3 months, I think we could make it happen.
Anybody have a problem with that or want to make a motion to that?
I'd like to make a comment. This is Larry, Councilman Sigrist.
Yes.
I think there's been 1 extension already. It's uncertain whether the funds are going to be there. I would suggest that it be reapplied for.
The funds are already there. The funds are already in the account. They've already been spoken for. Why would they not be there?
Oh, and you can't use them before the deadline. So, did you pass the first deadline?
Yes, we did. And we asked for an extension.
Okay. Can you pass the second deadline?
I don't know for sure
So-
exactly when the deadline is. I think it's in April sometime. But the money's there. It's not like we're taking it from somebody else.
Could it
It's
be
already
used? Could it be used for something else if it wasn't designated for the 2 extensions you've already asked for?
Oh, absolutely.
It would just go back into the sales tax grant
Yeah, it would just go,
money.
Larry, it would just.
Yeah,
go
that's
back-
what I'm saying. It'll just go back into the grant. All I'm saying is release the funds, reapply for it when they believe they have the contractors and the people to get the work done.
Yeah. Yeah, that way it wouldn't be tied up. The thing is it wouldn't.
I will tell you, the money is already committed to be spent here in Council Grove, put right back into a local business here in Council Grove. It's just that we have cut down because we were in the process of making the arrangements here in Council Grove, and that $10,000 will go right back into Council Grove.
I understand this, but I still think that even if it was released and reapplied for in the next quarter, that it would not be an issue to anybody in Council Grove.
The
Yeah, but
only-
what
the only- One second. So the only thing with it is it's not counting against this year's tax money. What it will do if you don't extend it is taking this year's sales tax. I'm sorry, for the commission, you guys cancel that, you go against the $56,000, and then minus $10,000 for other groups that we have.
Does that have anything to do with our budget?
We don't have $56,000 in our budget for sales tax rate. Like I said, so we have, so if we cancel it, and in the second quarter they apply for it, you gotta take, and we approved 10,000, you have to take it out. So if you budget 56, you're in a nice 20 for the chamber. Then you're another 10, and then others that apply for stuff, there may not be for this year. But the way it's set up now, you guys, they've got it last year, I believe. You guys have extended it, still earmarked in the last quarter, last year, it doesn't. I mean, I get what Larry's saying, I do.
But it kind of shorts us for,
This year, yes,
it would short us for this year if we take it back.
yes.
If we take it back, it will short us for this year, Larry. Do you understand that? Larry,
Yes,
did you hear what we were saying?
somewhat. It was chopped up a little bit.
Well,
chopped up a lot.
okay,
Okay, yeah, all right. I was being nice.
okay, if we take the money back, then it will short us 10,000 for this year on our sales tax grants. What we will be able to, it doesn't add to us because we were budgeted at 56,000. It doesn't give us 66.
Okay, I understand what you are telling me, but I don't think something is wrong here. You cannot keep extending deadlines for tax money from one budget year to the next with no consequences or anything else involved, is my point. There would be no problem with them applying again after today. Apply again. Same amount of money. It'd be in this fiscal year, and it wouldn't be carrying over money from last year, because unless they provide receipts, you can't pay them the money anyway.
Correct.
Well,
But what,
yeah.
but what if we're ready to spend the money in 30 days or 15 days from now?
Yeah, but it's in 2020.
We have
It's not
to-
in 20. It's not in 2019.
We have to wait until the next quarter to apply for the grant.
The next quarter has already started. Next quarter has already started. It's
Larry, the way I look at it, and y'all can say how you feel too, the way I look
Okay.
at it,
okay. I am not going to argue over the telephone, and that's just what we are right now. But my opinion and my vote will be not to give a third extension.
that's fine, that's your choice. They, the circumstances are a little bit extenuating, none of us knew this would happen. Okay, then do I hear a motion on whether we want to extend the sales tax grant for the Historical Society? How long? For $10,000, correct? Yes. Do I hear a motion?
This is Sharon. I move we extend the sales tax grant to the State Historical Society for 3 months.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
This is Mark Berner. I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to extend the sales tax grant one more time for 3 months, $10,000 to the Historical Society. Yes, I'm gonna go down the voting. Okay, Mark Brooks,
I'll have to abstain.
abstain, okay. Mark Berner,
Yes.
Sharon Hahn,
Yes.
Chris Thomas,
Yes.
Keith Wessel,
Yes.
Larry,
No.
okay. Motion carries 5-1 and 1 abstention. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for supporting. Couple quick things. Nick, where are we at with getting somebody lined up to clean out that drainage ditch down by the state?
Yeah, I have to get a conference call with the Streets and Parks Committee to discuss the bid. We got the bid back last week, and we discussed it then.
It's a really dry time right now. It'd be a good time to get that work done.
Yeah, so once I meet with them, I'll report back on what their recommendation is.
Okay,
Okay. And my final thing, which this is a yearly thing, and it just frustrates me that I have to bring it up every spring. We need to get our street department to spray our parks for weeds again.
Yeah, they actually started doing that, Mark. It's the wind and the rain, we can't really do those things. We planned a couple times to do it, and they're working on it this week. So they're not spraying, they've been out doing those things.
Well, the dandelions are growing like crazy, and this should be a preventive.
Go ahead.
This should be can I get a word in here? This should be a preventative measure done on a yearly basis. Those parks down on the intersection of Main and Union get seen by a lot of people, and we should take good care of those parks, and we're not doing it. Every year, it's the same situation.
I'm going to disagree with you, Mark. We're doing the best we can with the weather that we get. So we can't spray when it's windy, and we can't put up weed feed when it's wet out. So it's kind of one of those things.
It rained in days, Nick. Don't give me that. It hasn't rained in days. And there's other methods of weed prevention. So
Okay, we're going to agree with that. So
okay. Do you have anything else, Mark?
that's all.
Okay. Nick?
I don't have anything.
Okay. I have just a few things that are quick. I think we're going through a surreal time. We're making history, it sounds like. And Aaron, still here? Aaron left? Okay, well, he won't hear this, maybe he'll hear it on TV, but I just wanted to say how much I appreciate school feeding the children. That's been a lifesaving for a lot of people. I know the kids are appreciating it. I know the parents are appreciating it for several people. I want to say how proud I am of people schooling. They're doing a great job. I think our citizens, they are following this distance really well. I'm really proud of this. I'm very happy that we're all living where we're living. We're in a good position right now. And I just want to thank everybody for that. That's wonderful to have the kind of caring people we have living around us. Anyway, and hang in there, we'll get through this. And with that, I will. Want to adjourn?
So moved.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, who was that? I don't know who that was. Who moved and seconded? We don't know.
Keith was the motion and Sears was the second.
Keith and Larry, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All those in favor, say yay.
Hey.